on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back in here to Pregaming on Sports Money. TGIF app. You made it. We're here. The weekend is in front of us. Summer is around the corner. And it's a little chilly, but gray sky still. So I'm waiting for that sun. But I'm feeling pretty good about the day today. We have a premium play that is in play right now with the under 9. Was it under 9? Can't remember. 9 or 9.5. Chicago White Sox, Baltimore Orioles with a score of 0-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. So we like that. We like the way that is looking. And I appreciate everybody that joined us last night live show. Yeah, it was a small window of games, but I think we made some money on that thing. Man, I'll tell you, we'll talk about some of these games that really the one that went awry. And a lot of you guys cashed, so congratulations. I hope you went out and bought a lotto ticket if you had the over in the Nationals and Mariners game last night. You deserve it. 10th inning, 7 runs by the Nationals. What? Who had that going down like that? I certainly did not. So shout out to you guys that were on the over. I know Jover had that over. That was his Joe F your under play of the day. But look, no NHL tonight. No NBA tonight. What we do have is plenty of Major League Baseball. We've got a full slate of WNBA games. We've got the UFC playbook out there. We've give UFC First Strike out there. Plenty of things for you guys to do to get ready for the Saturday night live stream. We're going to pop off around 5:45-ish, give or take a couple of minutes, maybe ahead or behind. We'll see what it looks like. But you know the deal. When it comes to those live shows, we bust out. We try to go through the prelim card, talk about some of our plays that are out there, and then we launch right into the live bet show. UFC Vegas 107. Should be fun. Happy it's back. You know, we make money like bandits when it comes to that UFC stuff. And speaking of UFC, how about we get our friend of the show, Andrew Babakitis, the sports manager down at the Superbook in Las Vegas there, managing the risk room for the MMA side of the house, and going to join us and talk about where the Vegas liability stands. We'll see what some of them sharp bettors are on. We'll see what some of their preferred customers are on, some of their big bombers, and see what they're bombing on here, because it does seem like there's some dogs on this card that could very well bark. So excited. We're going to cover quite a few baseball games. I've actually got another, maybe I didn't add it here. We'll go Milwaukee, Philadelphia. That's going to pop off at 6:45 tonight. We'll move into the 7 o'clock slate for the Rockies and the Mets, the Angels and the Guardians, the Bruins, the Red Sox and the Braves. Then we'll go Cardinals and Rangers, Yankees and Dodgers. I went a little out of order. Yankees and Dodgers, I was excited to talk about. That's the big one. That's the big showdown / rematch. And then we've got Pittsburgh and San Diego that we will wrap up with there. And I know I went a little out of order. I think that Pittsburgh game starts before. That's 9:40, and the Dodgers game is 10:10. So I get it. I've got two WNBA plays for you tonight. And it seems all right. Like a good night to make some money. It's always a good night to make some money. Is there ever a bad night to make some money? I don't think so. I'll tell you last night. Last night was a hinger. The aforementioned Nationals game took us down. Don't know what to say. We were right at the I think we were right at even, I believe. Rolling into that game here. Let's take a look. The Golden State Valkyries almost won that game outright. They ended up losing by 5, but they were up with like a minute to go in that game. We had the plus 15.5 for the Golden State Valkyries in the WNBA. It cashed. One NBA game, one casher for us, WNBA game. In the Major League Baseball on the diamond, recapping is important. You guys know we do this on a regular basis. Talk about the losers more than the winners. I try to anyways. Jacob Lopez gets touched the F up. They have like 9 runs in the second inning or something like that. So he got over 4.5 hits. That catch. However, Oakland got shut out. Now you might say to yourself, Oakland just got shut out. Where are they on the card? I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like some Oakland action tonight against this Toronto team. Bassett, though, does have himself a nice little overtrend out there. And if that means Toronto's scoring runs, then it does scare me a little bit. The Houston Astros were the DT of the night. You know what I mean by the DT? They're teasing all right. They go down 3-0. They let them tie it up 3-3. Houston ties up 3-3. And then there's an explosion of runs. I think they had a 7-pack in like the 6th inning or 7th inning. And there goes that game. So we took that out. We did take a dub. We took a dub with the Nationals. We had them at even money. But the spot that we wanted to cash was the plus 260 parlay. The Nats and the under. It looked so good. 2 days in a row, man. 2 days ago, the Nats put up 9 runs. Seattle scores 0. They get shut out. 8.5 was the total. We had the under. We lost it. Yesterday, 7 runs in the 10th inning by the Nationals. And it goes over. Right? It was, 2-2 going into the extra innings. So those are 2 bad breaks. Back-to-back bad breaks with those unders out there. I still like the calls. I still thought they were the right calls. Would I play them again if I knew that they were going to lose? Of course not. That's foolish. That being said, though, we split the final games out there, the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals. We lost Dallas. Dallas lost themselves. A minute into the game, they were down in that game. 6-3 final. Dallas never had a chance. That game was literally over before the NBA game started, and we did cash with the New York Knickerbockers -4, 111-94 final. Good day. All in all, kind of beat some of that odd movement, too, at the very last minute. It shook to 4.5s. Even some 5s wouldn't have mattered. They busted up them Pacers. Wire to wire. Literally, Pacers just look, I don't know, like they were just trying to win it back at home, maybe? Maybe they're trying to pull out that, we'll win it at home. We'll win this one at home, and we'll go on and play OKC in the final. So I'm curious to see if there's any liability when we talk to our friend Andrew later on today. Now it's 2-0. 2-0, bottom of the 6th inning. I hope I didn't just jinx ourselves. You know the deal. The majority of runs get scored in the first inning in Major League Baseball. So if you're sitting at 0-0 after 5 innings, it looks pretty freaking good. That's what I'm going to say. Speaking of pretty freaking good, this contest coming up, not next week, but the following, I believe we will be launching this contest. Chilling and grilling with sports money on the 4th of July. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for you guys to get involved in that one. Everyone's got an opportunity to win. All the stakes are equal. All the stakes are literally equal. It's going to be a fun contest. Excited for that. Very excited, as a matter of fact. I think I want to enter it myself. I said that yesterday. So we'll see. Time will tell. Hopefully you guys did see the playbook. I did release that. I think it was earlier today. And a little hint. The link never changes. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Mookie Betts now a late scratch from the LA Dodgers. So what do we got? What do we got? Where are we at? What is the next step here? We've got a lot of action to cover. We don't have a ton of time to do it. We're always in that position. Speaking of being in that position, Florida and Edmonton. So we get this playoff rematch. Now, it won't start till Wednesday. So we're going to have, 5 days off? 6 days off? Edmonton will be hosting, and it's got to be miserable. This is literally, remember last year they were talking about how long a trip it was? Like if you're one of those media reporters or one of those media folks in the outlet out there, they had 3 stops to get from Edmonton to Florida. I think they said it was like 5,800 miles, or I forgot the exact number. I just remember it was a lot. And some of these guys said it was like 13, 14, 15 hours to get there with the layovers. So they're back at it. They were probably thinking at the end of last year, thank goodness we don't have this again. And yet, here they go. I talked a little bit about this yesterday. It's bad for hockey to have Florida teams in the finals 6, 7 straight years, but until they change the playoff rulings, that's going to be the way it goes. I like the wild card. I do like that. Kind of like what the NBA does. Like, stretch this thing out to 10 teams. Let's get, 10 versus 8, I guess, right? Is that it? No, 10 versus 7 and 8 versus 9? I forgot. Anyways, I like that. I like that idea. I like that option. Cashed some goal scoring props last night, though. I'm fucking fire. Again, Jeff Skinner, cash. Robertson, cash. Cashed them almost as soon as we put them in. So that was a nice little doozy out there. And let's see. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what else we got going on. Well, of course, the Knicks and Pacers tomorrow night. They'll be playing at 8 p.m. right in time for that UFC card. So we'll get some plays out there for you guys. Lots of action tomorrow. Big card. Might even have a soccer play for a little overseas action. My eye is itching, so it's allergy season. Allergies are here. They are here. They have not gone away. So that's the deal. That's the way that cookie crumbles. How about that? Wouldn't be right if I didn't say that. But we do have action, so we do have to get moving. It's go time. You guys know the deal. We're in show. In show, thumbs up. Post show, comment. You guys did a great job yesterday, by the way. Great job live streaming. Great job with the views. Thank you guys for attending. Curious if you like Thursdays. If there's another day that is preference. I like Thursday because, kind of rolls into Friday. You kind of get through the day, maybe a little hungover. But then you're done and you're on the weekend mode. And it's time to make money betting sports. Sports makes money. That's why we make money betting sports every single day. Ramon Scott, the morning steam. Shout out to my guy, JPZ. I got to see where JPZ's at. I know he got some new work going on out there. I know that. I haven't seen him in a minute. I know he shows up when he can. Maybe we'll see him tomorrow. That's the deal, guys. Thumbs up now is the time of the show where we become professional disruptors. That's right. We're going to disrupt this YouTube algorithm, and we're going to do it as one collective voice. You do it by smashing the thumbs up button during the show, post-show, comments. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that, but let's take a second now. If you haven't done so already, smash that thumbs up button. Also, we will have a moment during the Andrew Babakita segment to talk about any questions you guys want to have answered when it comes to the sports book within reason, right? Let's be reasonable. But he's here to help us. It's a unique opportunity. A fine young man that comes in here, joins us, and tries to help us figure out how to make that cash. I've been learning a ton. And I'll tell you what, I've been seeing it translate to my bankroll. So, we already were firing on the UFC, but to have the resource in Andrew come in there and just kind of guide us, educate us a little bit on how the lines are made and what they're looking for. I know I want to find out a couple of questions, specifically, what's the havoc look like back there when they get last-minute fights lined up, and does it affect the handle? How does it affect the handle? Also, I want to talk a little bit about some of these weight misses and how their sharper bettors react to some of these spots. He's already told us that the dogs tend to get bet by the sharper bettors on fight night. I'm curious. I think there were like 4 weight cut misses. 4 of them. So they had, 11 fights, dropped down to 10, and 4 weight cut misses. It's going to be fun to watch these guys beat on each other tomorrow. So, get your questions ready. Let's talk about what's going on with this chat, the sharpest damn chat in the business. I stand by it. Put my flag in the ground on that thing out there. And get your pen and paper ready. You're going to want to write these plays down. I'm going to shout everybody out. Let's get them in the chat. Let's talk about them. We got a guy coming in at 6:45. So we got about 27 minutes. Time will fly on by. Shout out to Robert McCormick, Stop Geoengineering, and Jay Main all up in the house. There's my guy, Redbeard, ready to rock and roll with us. Jay Main, says, what up? Let's go. Redbeard says, need the full version of that intro. You want the full version, huh? I'll hit you up with what the song is called. It is a good one. I clipped like the first third of it, but it's a solid one. I'm going to do like a 4-minute intro. What are we watching with Razor on a Thursday live show with a full minute countdown? I'll try to give you guys 20, 30 seconds just to get up to let you know we're coming here ready to roll. But I'll get it to you, Redbeard. It is a pretty solid song, isn't it? Fernando Mendoza. I like the Saturday or the other non-live stream one personally. The one that sounds a little bit like Eminem. That's a good one too. So it's not Eminem, but it sounds a little bit like him. Let's go. Where are we at? Where am I at? Oh, I'm in the office. Where I'm at. Jay Main. Aja over 11.5 rebounds. I'm going to tell you this. Somebody made a comment yesterday, and I starkly disagreed. And I stand by it. Angel Reese rebounds is not a good prop bet. She missed it again last night. They keep putting it at 13.5, and she keeps missing. I don't know how the hell she's gotten. She gets like 2 points a game, but somehow she's got double machines going on. I don't know. Just be careful of that Angel Reese rebound prop. It's typically 13.5, and she's like 11, 12. So for Aja to get over 11.5, that's reasonable. That is reasonable, Jamie. Fernando Mendoza's in the house. What up, Fernando? Robert McCormick says, I'm up to a good start with MLB cash, the Reds money line, and the White Sox first 5 plus a half. Already both for plus money. I tail the under in that one as well. I could use that kicker right off the gate. I exercised restraint. Fortunately for me, I went to lunch, and I did not bet that Cubs game. And I was happy because I would have taken the Cubs. Especially these teams just played each other. Talk a little bit about that when you see these pitchers just played each other. Literally, last time out. Reds on the Cubs. Is that what's going on here? Redbeard says Sox first 5 money line pushes. Joe Dubs in us. I like that push. I mean, I get it, the plus a half, but I mean, you have to ask yourself, were they likely to be tied? Were they likely to be up 1 run or likely to be down 7 runs versus the scenario of the tie? So you get maximum value, but you pushed. I like that play, Redbeard. Smart man. Joe Dub says, cheers, Mikey. Stop Gio says, UFC playbook is fire. Added to it. That's the thing about it. It's a dynamic document. It's a resource for everybody to try to cash more winning bets. And that's exactly how you should use it. So that's how I look at it. We're adding. I updated the folks that missed weight cut today. I changed some of the fights around. And, of course, it's a great spot for you to see how the lines are moving. Think about that. I appreciate that. Stop you. I got to put a parlay in there. I've got 2 of my 3 legs for my all about to finish, my ATF parlay. Try to pick a KO, a sub, and a decision. I also put a split decision on there that was plus 700. So I feel like that's pretty good. J-Man says 6:45 is the next game start. Burnette's Women National League has been money. Women's Nation League has been money. Need a Discord for sports money. I have to take that into advisement. I like that. Women's Nations League has been money. Where I would like some money. J-Pain says 2-0 O's. The Pitt's taking money. Old E says, Red, you find anything you like on the Rays Astros game under. Nicholas Handy. J-Main says, which is the WNBA game going under? We'll talk about it. I got it under. Redbeard says, Rays money line over 7.5. Pepio over 3.5 Ks. Yandy Diaz. We had that one. We had Yandy again. He cashed. Irish King likes Milwaukee, or questioning Milwaukee money line. Says Houston first 5 minus a half. That's money. Redbeard, appreciate you, brother. I like fading the Astros. I think they're a little fraudulent. I think you're on the right side for sure. Oldie says that to Redbeard. I agree. It's Fromber, though. Fromber is a lefty. Dana Delp's in the house. Oldie says, work kicked my ass all week. I'm backlogging data right now, but I'm ready to unload the clip next week. That's okay. It's a short week with the holiday factored in there. Dana Delp says, cash all the Hart under assist and Halliburton under points, rebounds, and assist prop he gave out last night. Robert Dixon says, Braves, no bottom of the ninth against them Red Sox. Dana Delp likes Florida to win. Florida to win the chip. Saw our guy Razor Sharp in his ice cold take about touching the trophy. You don't touch the conference finals trophy in any sport. You just don't do it, and Edmonton did it. Now, we'll give Razor the pass because he's new to sports gambling and betting hockey. But some of those years that he threw out there go back to Wayne Gretzky. It took Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne Gretzky could literally do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. So I like that Florida to win is my roundabout way of saying that. Dana Delp, Trisha M. and her Ice Cats. Irish King says, I cashed. EP in first 10 minutes. San Diego first 5 minus 1.5. Too good. Yeah, I missed the intro. Guess I'll have to rewind. This is Go Jays, Fernando Mendoza, and Iglesias Pettyfed. J-Ram Olsen. Home run. J-Ram. Jose Ramirez. Tarek B says, what's up, Big Mike? Driving under this pouring rain, listening Astros and Padres for Tarek B. Nasty Nate says, Macy by KO. Macy came in a little heavy. A little heavy. Nathan Cern is checking in from work. All right, well, you guys are ready to go. I'm ready to go. Let's go, Grandma. Grandma Horse Racing's here. Hey, Grandma. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. Grandma, what I got my sports money shot glass. Ooh, is it that? No, I thought it had residue with it from last night. That is not true. When it was in use last night, Grandma, great seeing you. Hope you are doing well. And Dana Dubb says DK home run free play. Tatis and Schwarber at plus 1405. Let's get into this card. Let's dig in. We'll get going. We got 20 minutes till our friend joins us from the Las Vegas Superbook down there. Excited to talk about the UFC and see what's going on. We'll check in. I know he was under the weather last weekend. Stinks. You get your time off, you catch a cold. Not the worst. We'll see if he's feeling better. We'll see what he has to say. I'm going to tell you what I have to say. Brewers and Phillies get to play on the screen here, and I'm going to read it off to you guys here because I do like this thing to see runs, and more runs. I wanted to take the Brewers. They do have some reverse line movement. 78% of the bets, 63% of the cash are on the Phillies. The lines come down from 154 to 118. We have 53% of the bets, 54% of the cash on the over. It's gone from 9 to 9.5. Did see some 10s for a cup of coffee this afternoon. It's TJ Walker with his 2.98 ERA. And some young chap named DL Hall, who sports a 3.86 ERA for these Milwaukee Brewers. He's a lefty. We know that. We also know he had a shit outing his last time. Well, I wouldn't say shit, but he went 2.1 outings. I guess he did his job as an opener. 2.1 innings means he pitched into the third. And he only gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. He walked 2 guys. That was against Boston. That was a lower scoring game. They were at home. He's now going on the road. And he's logged no pitching time at this point. So the real question in this one is, what are we going to get from this Phillies crew? And Taijuan Walker is not a guy that instills confidence as I look at this Phillies bullpen. His home ERA is at 3.04. Got a little slapped around his last start. Had the Colorado Rockies, too, which is troubling. It was at Coors, so maybe we give him a little bit of a break there. But as far as his ability to not recognize what his job is, it's moving in the wrong direction. What I mean by that is, if you're the pitcher, you're not supposed to give up runs. He gave up 2. He gave up 4. He had a share. Shut out Tampa Bay. Then he got busted up by St. Louis, 14-7. Only went 3 innings. 3 innings. He did finish off with a 5-er. He had 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 of them earned for 1 home run out there. Taijuan Walker coming back from Coors Field. But as you see on the screen, I'm not wavering from this opportunity. Like I said, I like Milwaukee. I just took some spots last week where I thought this price is funny, and the better teams prevail. That being said, what I do think are these bats can get rolling. We've got some intersecting zeros and a massive overtrend here. 16-0-1 are the Phillies when they're less than a minus 185. If they're coming off of a beatdown. Fortunately for us, check that box. Last game out, they got busted up by Atlanta 9-3. Now, some externalities. It was the second leg of a doubleheader. Everybody knew they were going to lose that game. Literally. I didn't hear anybody say. I heard people not serious about game number 1 with Philly, but they were like, I'm fading them in game number 2. So, kind of put that other strap in the or checking the mark or check mark the box, whatever I'm trying to say for this Philly side of things here, or this Milwaukee team, because you do have that doubleheader yesterday. When they're in that spot that they lost by 5 or more runs, they go over that next game by 3.2 runs on average in that 17-game sample. The Brewers coming over a game 11-0. Dog spot, plus 140 versus a good team that wins more than 46% of the time. Not even a good team, just an average team. It's the overtrend, though. 5.6 runs per game in those spots. That's massive. That's an absolutely massive number. I'm going to take the 9.5. I don't care who wins. I prefer the Phillies to win. It's Jover's team with the Brewers. So I just figured I'd give this a little healthy Jover over F this under spot today here. Phillies bats can crack. Brewers bats are the key for us in this one. I do think if they get 6 or 7 runs, they should win this game. I don't think Philly has the depth at this point with the Harper situation to match it. So we'll see. Nasty Nate, Tail Wine Times play on team total over 4.5. Did he give it in here? I missed it? Did I miss it? Gonzo's in the house. What's up, Gonzo? Ignatius says, can't wait for tomorrow's show. It says, thanks to Trisha. Give me some good winners this last month. I'm such a noob in sports, but it's okay. We're all here to win. Trisha's Ice Cats have been fired. Ramon Scott says the fighters in the main event seem to enjoy the face-off after the weigh-ins when they were chest to chest. They had to be separated. It was an aggressive weigh-in, wasn't it? They went hot, fast. Oh, this is Redbeard. I just saw that Sox first by Roman by the hair of my chin. Hey, cash is cash, man. This is paid $120 for it, but I was feeling the 0-0 could happen. SF Niner. SF today or not? I'm going to say not. I don't have it on the screen. I'm going to say not. I think this is a Miami spot. I mean, I looked at the whole fucking card, so I don't mind telling you how I feel about a couple of these spots here. But let's go. We got a lot of work to do. We're falling behind. There you go. I'm like a chatty patty. Is that what I'm doing right now? Chatting it up, talking to my fucking self. I hope you guys have the volume on. Doing all this talking, and it's only me. Game number 2, we got the Colorado Rockies, the New York Metropolitans. And, my less than desire for the Mets here, but they're massive favorites. And I don't think that you can take the Rockies. It's a total that's sitting at 8, right? So 96% of the bets, 98% of the cash are on the Mets. Mine's come down a little. It's gone the other. It's kind of oscillated, I guess. We'll call it oscillating. It's come down on the Mets side. It's gone up on the Colorado side. And the total at 8. 90% of the bets, 88% of the cash on that total. It's Peterson and Freeland. Freeland's got that 5.86 ERA. He's got no wins on the year. I mean, look, let's be honest. If you have big kahunas, you might feel inclined to take the Colorado Rockies. Firmly believe you're making a donation. Right? I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason they stink. They're equally as bad on the run line at home as the road. They're both 10-18. So you got to look at the Mets. Now, the Mets struggled against the White Sox. They played the Dodgers at home. They got the White Sox. They're still at home now against this Rockies team. They lost that last game 9-4. Were they looking ahead to the Rockies? I'm pretty sure they weren't. So for me, this is pretty cut and dry. I mean, look, got to figure out how to play this Mets team, and you got to try to keep the vig down, right? I don't want to get involved in the run line business. Home team loses that ninth inning, as we very well know. Maybe them not to play the bat in the ninth inning. Maybe that's a good look as well. I think pitcher versus pitcher, they got the strength here because Freeland's a bum. My euphemism for bum is he's 0-7. You look at this guy's collective numbers, and well, he's just not very good. 5.86 ERA. A little bit better on the home than at Coors. Only went 4.2 innings the last time out there. He got hit 9 times. He gave up 4 earned runs, one of them a homer. Only 3 strikeouts, by the way. That was against the Yankees. I get it. And he's had a tough schedule. But if you want to look at piece of shit, he played Texas at Texas. Texas, worst offense in baseball. And he lost that game 4-1. So to me, it was a Peterson play. And as I was looking at some of the other numbers and kind of looking to, just kind of dig into it just a little bit. I mean, there's not a lot to dig into here for me. I don't want to oversimplify this spot, but look, the Mets are 16-0. Series openers as a favorite of more than -125 if the total's not higher than a 9. That's it. 16-0 to pop the series off. I think they got the better of the starting pitchers. And I'll put Peterson out there to test it at -120 to catch the win. I think that's a fair number. I think it's a reasonable price tag, and we're going to keep moving. Game number 3, we got to pick up this pace here. Let's go. Let me get this out there. I'm a dog it. I'm hot dogging. We got this Angels team popped off, and for two reasons. One, I believe it's Mike Trout that's coming back in the lineup tonight. I normally like to fade a team when their star players coming back, but you got strong bats. It can only help to bring in another strong bat. This line's got 72% of the bets, 79% of the cash on the Guardians. It's come down from -142 to -139. The total's got really not much movement. It's still juiced at 8, but there's a couple 8.5s out there to the over. 79% of the bets, 81% of the cash on that over. And Ortiz will take the bump for the Guardians. I am not an Ortiz fan. Collectively, again, looking at recent performance, he's got a 4.73 ERA. What do you want to talk about? Now, he does play better at home, but he just came off of a sloppy outing against them Tigers. Sloppy. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. Only 3 strikeouts. That's what we're going to get for Ortiz. Soriano. I don't know. I guess I give the slight edge on this side of things to the Angels. Soriano's got the 3.73 ERA. He does great on the road. 2.35 ERA on the road. This guy prefers to play on the road than he does prefer to play at home. Did come off a tough outing himself. 4.2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs. Collectively, in this process for me, I like the fact that Soriano plays better on the road. Internally, with Anderson playing like shit for this Angels team, this guy becomes the number 1. So he's got to have a little bit of excitement, a little bit of electricity rolling in his back pocket now, knowing that he's in that spot. This, to me, is a fade of the Guardians. They've won 17 in a row against the Angels at home after a home win. Is it going to be 18? I don't think so. Ironically enough, we're in a shutout position. The Angels got shut out 1-0 against the Yankees. You know my feeling when teams get shut out. I got a stronger road pitcher, team coming off the shutout, bats only getting better. And, oh, by the way, if you're playing game 1 and you lost that last game 1-0 exactly, You're 130 and 68 those next games. 130 and 68, 2-1 advantage in that spot for us. We'll take a shot with that one. We'll keep her rolling. I got to keep her rolling out there. Let's keep her moving here. I'll keep this one quick. We'll give this one a real shorty spot there, the shorty pop with this one. I'll give you guys the splits here. Of course, we've got the AL East, the NL East battling the Atlanta Braves coming off that second leg of the doubleheader factor as well. 78% of the bets, 76% of the cash are on the Atlanta Braves. It's gone from 161 to 165. So a little bit of steam coming in, a little bit of movement in the side. They don't care that the Braves played back-to-back. Total at 9, 63% of the bets, 72% of the cash, and it's juicing to the under. Why is it juicing to the under? First of all, I wouldn't fuck with Giolito with a 10-foot pole. 5.27 ERA. That's not my guy. It's not him, baby. Holmes on the other side of things, we're not talking John Holmes here. 3.68 ERA. Does play better at home. 2.36 ERA. And at the end of the day, for me with this one, we'll just keep it quick. This is the first game of the series. And we see Atlanta, series openers, 9-0, their last 9 to the under in series openers. They're playing the better pitchers. They're not chasing a lot of contact. It's just a under spot with a 9 and a key number that's juicing to the under in this spot. To me, it all lines up. All signs point to the under. I guess 9.5. I got seeing some 9s out there. Put a little juice, I guess, for that 9. And then I've got, let's keep her moving. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Texas Rangers in this game. We're going to fire off again. Give it to you guys short and sweet. I just talked about Texas Rangers having some of the ice cold bats in baseball. 76% of the bets, 80% of the cash coming in on the Cardinals. It has moved a little against them, in all fairness. 9s have moved to 8.5s. For me, this one came down to a play on Liberatore. He's got a 2.73 ERA. He's going up against Leiter, who's got that 4.17, but you're not going to win games if you don't score. Texas has certainly had their share of trouble scoring. Collectively on this side of the house here, the Cardinals have won each of their last 6 night games against teams that are shitty. Shitty is defined by losing records. Liberatore, he's been firing. Over 28.1 innings. He's allowed only 7 runs, 24 hits, and 6 walks. He's got about a 6-1, almost a 7-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And you're playing a team that offensively is poor. Leiter, his May, 5.2 ERA, 27.2 innings of work. And he's not striking them out. He's just not finding the plate right now. I think he's going to struggle against a team in St. Louis that's been hot. They got a little cold. I think they get back hot again out there. I know it's the first game of the series, but I'm still going to get involved in those guys. And I'm going to take the Yankees. Let me give you that one here really quick as we keep her moving. These New York Yankees, LA Dodgers, it is the revenge spot. We've got a revenge-oriented trend, and we've got the best pitcher in baseball on Max Fried. This line opened up at 59% of the bet, 66% of the cash on the Yankees. It's gone from -108 to -125. And the total's starting to move. I mentioned no Mookie, no Bueno. In this one for me, give you guys some intersecting 0 points. How about that? The LA Dodgers are 0-9 as home dogs when a total is more than a 7, and their opponent just came off a win. That was that 1-0 win that we mentioned in that angel spot with the Yankees previously. 0-9 home dogs. You're not getting them at a discount. They're losing by 3.2 runs per game. And the Yankees in a revenge spot, 14-0. 14-0 in the revenge spot. If they struck out more than 4 times against the team that they're in that revenge spot against, the total's more than a 7.5, and they're in the favorite. And they're a favorite in a revenge, they fire. Max Fried. How about Max Fried? 53-15. Non-divisional starts when the total's more than a 7.5. And if he's in the revenge spot, he's 16-0. They're winning those games by an average of 3.5 runs a pop. I'm going to drop the books with that New York Yankee spot. That's going to be a fun one to watch. And I'm going to give you this last baseball spot that I'm involved with here. The San Diego Padres. Now, I see some of you guys did mention they were taking some runs. I know I'm out of sequence with the timing. 91% of the bets, 97% of the cash are on the Padres. That is moving against them. Now, that could potentially be because we see Pittsburgh's been finding a little bit of a rhythm. It's tough to be a bad team all season long unless you're the Rockies or the White Sox. 73% of the bets and 71% of the cash are on the over 7.5. It has not moved. Pavetta, Slick Nick Pavetta, and Mitch Keller will take the bump out there at Petco tonight. And this is not a spot for me that I want to be invested in the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, I mentioned their situation, recent form. Yeah, back-to-back wins. They took down Arizona in Arizona. They got shut out 5-0. What happens after a team gets shut out? They won 9-6. Then they won 10-1. So their bats are finding contact. The Padres just lost that last game of the series at Miami, but it's still at home with no travel. It was 10-8. With all due respect, it was 10-8. It wasn't like they got busted up. They just couldn't score enough runs to outstop the opponent. And that's the challenge here, where the runs keep on running for this Pittsburgh Pirates, or for the San Diego spot. Mitch Keller. Mitch the bitch, they call him. 0-10 when he's not favored. He's losing by 4.3 runs a game. Padres have won 11 straight night games against National League opponents that have a losing record. I took the Padres -1. I got a reasonable price tag on it. I expect with that margin of victory, they bust them up mightily. -120. Fair price tag for me to get involved. Let's talk some WNBA. Perfect timing. I see our guys backstage right now. I don't get a ton of split activity when it comes to this WNBA, but I'll give you guys a couple quick trends that I'm tailing here when it comes to getting invested on this WNBA side of things. First of all, the Sun. Here come the Sun. The worst team in basketball, WNBA, maybe. But we know about the other side of the equation. Caitlin Clark is her name. You might have heard of her. It don't matter. She ain't playing. And so we're on the second game. The star player is out. Not the first, the second. We like to play on that first game. The star player is out. The second game, fade away. In fact, the same trend that we rode on last night is back in play. A bad team loses as a big dog. They fire back 140-87. That was the Golden State Valkyries trend that we were following last night. We're going to take it again. And I'll give you guys one last one here. I'm taking the Lynx and Mercury game under. When you get a bunch of overs, the books overvalue those overs. They tend to go under. In fact, they do it a whole bunch. We got a 159.5. It's starting to come down a little bit. 168-136 when we see that. And an over streak finishes, the under comes in. And that's, in essence, you're buying low on an under after they've continued to clobber the overs. That's going to bring us right to our guy. I see he's back there. He's ready to go. And I'm fired up because you guys know this is my favorite time of the week. Let's welcome him to the show. Coming to us live from Las Vegas, our friend Andrew Balakitis. Andrew, how you doing, my bud?
I'm doing all right today. I mean, not the greatest UFC card in the world, but we're looking forward to some fights for sure. And obviously, we got a lot of big sports going on, a lot of activity in the book this week. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm a big tennis guy, so I've been enjoying the French Open. Not a lot of handle on that sport here, sadly, but I still love tennis and I enjoy watching all those matches, as many as I can. But yeah, man, it's a good time to be. We got a couple weeks before it's just baseball, so I'm trying to enjoy this.
Hey, I get it. Now, speaking of enjoying it, I know you had the week off, or the weekend, I think, with the UFC away there, but you were under the weather. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. I feel like there's a bug going around a little bit. My girlfriend's sick now, sadly, but yeah, I mean, there's just a little bug going around, but I'm feeling all right, and yeah, happy to be back at work.
Yeah, no, it's always a fun place to be. I'm sure. Look at that, man! We're coming literally to us live. It looks like I just want to reach out and
it's crazy
experience.
The last couple of days, there's been a lot of Oiler fans here, and they've been going crazy for the games. They've been like asking us every day, can we switch the sound from basketball to hockey? And it's killing me because I'm not really a big hockey guy compared to basketball, and the energy for the hockey games has been awesome for sure.
What was it like last night with that? Obviously that Pacers Knicks game. I was the Knicks side of things there. I thought that they would find a way to come through at Madison Square Garden. Was it still a little rowdy, or was it still favoring more hockey?
No, yeah, that was all hockey fans here. I don't know if Edmonton has some convention going on at the Westgate, but man, it was pretty surprising that. But when the Stars scored, it was completely quiet. It was dead silent. So it's literally just all Oiler fans. But yeah, the basketball game wasn't the best one that we've seen this playoffs. So I could understand why they wanted us to switch the sound. The hockey game, it was okay, but yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this upcoming basketball game. I'm hoping we can get this thing to 7 because Madison Square Garden has been waiting for an electric moment like that. You know what I mean? Like in my whole lifetime, I don't think there's ever been a more important game than that would be. Like maybe in the late 90s when they were winning championships, but I was like an infant, so I don't really remember that.
Well, let's look. We got UFC 107 on deck. I got a couple questions about some of this NHL liability that's coming in potentially with the way you guys are seeing the series lining up here. But I want to talk 107. I know it. Look, a lot of moving parts with this card. It's got to be an absolute freaking nightmare for you to try to get your hands wrapped. They're changing fights at the they're changing opponents. These guys are supposed to fight those guys. Now they're just going to fight each other. And you got 4 weight cut misses in this thing as well. It just looks like it's an absolute shit show. So I'm very eager to hear. I'm gonna give you the keys to the car. You're gonna drive away for us here. Let me get this thing set up for us. But I'd love for you to just talk to us about what you see going on in the book.
Okay, yeah, I'll do my best. Yeah, this card has been an absolute a lot of work on our end to kind of get things situated. Like you said, there's been 5 replacement fights and everything. So yeah, it's been a lot of work. But I'll start at the bottom of the card with some of the fights that have some good handle. Starting with the Levitt fight, Levitt versus Holloway. Early in the week, we opened up Levitt at minus 165. That's been a big mover. We did take some early sharp action on Levitt. We're currently sitting minus 230, so that's a decent sized move. We got hit at minus 190 pretty heavily. So right now we do have a pretty big decision on Holloway, which I think he has a good shot. I mean, I do like Levitt a lot, but that steam seems like it's almost unbettable at this 230 to 250 range compared to where this thing opened. Another one we got hit on today actually was the Elise versus the Santos fight. We did take a decent sized sharp wager on Elise at plus 165. I honestly did my best on this fight because I knew this was a low level girls fight and there was no reason for that price to be, what did we open that thing? It opened, close to $3 and now we're sitting $2. So I knew there would be some sharp action on that side, but we still did get hit. I think we avoided the highest numbers, so that was kind of important for us. But yeah, the sharp action on that. I know it's a lower level girls fight, but there's still some big time action on it. A little bit higher on the card, we'll go to the Macy Chiasson fight versus Caitlin Vieira. It's kind of been one way action on this one. On that Chiasson side, we did get a sharp bet early. We opened this thing Vieira minus 120. So Chiasson actually opened up the underdog. She's currently sitting minus 140 now. Like I said, we did get hit a few times on that Chiasson side. I'm expecting some buyback tomorrow on that Vieira side because, like I said, she did open up the favorite. I'd be surprised if this thing just keeps, juicing Chiasson side. So I don't hate the position we're in on Vieira. I think she's definitely live in that fight. Then I have a few more to talk about. We actually did get a big bet from our sharpest UFC customer on the Zach Reese versus the Todorovic fight. He came in and bet Todorovic at plus 250. It's been non-stop movement. I've tried to do my best to position ourselves to write some Zach Reese money back. and we have had a little bit of success, but we're still in the hole a little bit on that Todorovic side because he's not the only one that liked the dog in that spot. The co-main event, that's probably the highest handle fight of all the fights, the Ludovic Klein versus Gamrot fight. We did get early sharp action on Gamrot. The number really didn't steam or anything with the sharp action because there was a lot of resistance. There was buyback on that Ludovic Klein side. So there's strong opinions on both sides in this fight. Currently, the book needs Ludovic Klein for a decent amount, but like I said, there's been strong action on both sides of that fight, so it shouldn't be an issue balancing the books on that one. Macy Barber versus Aaron Blanchfield, the main event. I know Macy Barber missed weight this morning, so that throws another curveball for us and makes things a little bit more confusing, right? We opened that fight at minus 190 on Blanchfield. We're currently sitting minus 220. Yeah, I honestly think, personally, I think Barber has a good shot in this fight. I think she has a solid chance. So I wasn't scared. I wanted to see who was out there that was willing to lay that 230, 240 price tag on Blanchfield. There was a couple takers, but nothing too significant in this one. So yeah, we do need Macy Barber for a little bit, but I'm excited to see what it looks like tomorrow because, like I've mentioned before on this show and some of the others, some of the sharpest customers wait till the day of because they know a lot of these favorite prices get so inflated, and then they come in and hammer the dog. So I'm trying to do my best with that knowledge to protect the book, honestly. So I think we're sitting in a pretty solid position on a lot of the fights this week. Basically, just balancing the books on a lot of these. But yeah, if you have any questions about any of the other fights, I'm definitely willing to touch on those or any other sports that you'd like to talk about as well.
Yeah, so let me get readjusted there. I think we're good there again. I'm running the toggles here, and I might as well be wearing a blindfold. Sometimes I feel like so. Andrew, I want to talk about some of these missed weight cuts because I'm curious. I'm curious twofold. I guess it's a two-part question. First and foremost, when you see that weight cut miss, as a guy that sets the lines and gets involved in that, are you going back to manipulate the line based on that weight cut? And then I guess the second part of that question is, how do your sharper bettors, how do your sharp customers respond and react to that?
Yeah, that's honestly a great question. Well, obviously there is a market out there, so sometimes the weight misses will shift the market much more aggressively than others. For the most part, I'm watching all the weigh-ins and keeping my eye on all that stuff, and I will adjust because you know that people are just looking for any little edge that they see, and you just want to be ready to, if you can save the book 10 cents, you're doing your job, right? Even if the fight doesn't go the way that you booked it, you're still doing your job, right? You're moving it in accordance to what is going on with the weight miss. So that is a great question, and I think there's not a solid one way that these things are booked when the weight miss. Some, how it is. Some weight misses are an advantage for some of these guys. I feel like sometimes these guys just say, I know I'm not making the weight. I'm just not going to try to cut that additional 3 or 4 pounds, right? So sometimes it works out for the better for those guys, and it's a hard thing, and like I said, it throws a curveball when you're booking these UFC fights for sure. It does fluctuate the pricing of 100%.
So if you don't mind, I know a couple questions have come in here. One of them was on the philo side of things. So it looked like the philo side, there was that weight cut miss there. And
yeah,
have you seen that dramatically impact any of the action? One side,
absolutely. Yeah, I didn't really touch on that fight much. So we did get early action in the week, sharp action on Nascimento. He, with that weight miss, the price has fluctuated quite a bit. Let me pull it up. We opened it. We opened it at minus 140. It got as high as 170, and now it's crashed all the way back down to minus 130. So that's a perfect example of a shift that in the last, 8 hours that I've been here, you've seen this thing move 40 cents. It's crazy. It really is. But yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the weight miss clearly does, affect the market sometimes. That early sharp action, it kind of got pushed in those guys' face. If they want to come bet it again, they could get a better price on it now. You know what I mean?
It's funny because you talked to us about how the sharper bettors will come in there and hit those dogs on fight night. And I've always been kind of that late betting is great betting philosophy. Like, let me see what's going on with the market before I decided just to go plunge right in.
Yeah.
And that's definitely changed for me the last couple of weekends here. I'm not getting in so many early bets as I'm just kind of letting things kind of percolate till I can start to see some type of I guess, a more clear picture around there. But hey, question came in from the chat around a prop bet. Do you guys? I mean, I'm sure you book props here when it comes to the UFC. Is there one prop bet that the book really needs to come through? Is the public really hammering any one spot particularly this week? I know
you're talking
probably
method of victories and stuff like that, along those lines.
Like a KO or a sub, a round prop. Is there anything that really stands out to you that the public really sees it one way, or the books will really you guys will have a really good outcome if it happens this way?
Yeah, I would say that one thing with these smaller cards is we don't write as much handle on those kind of markets. And if you follow along with the markets, book wide, pretty much any book, you'll see that they're much later to get those props up during these smaller cards. So the market's not as solid, but let me see what we have coming in so far.
It's funny you mentioned that because we do some of our pre-recordings earlier in the week, and it's literally like Tuesday night trying to do some research for it. There's not a lot of prop action out there. There's not a lot of those decision and method of victory spots out there to analyze line movement on. But I feel like by the time those markets get set, I got to feel like the sharps gobble that up quickly, and then there's not much line movement after that initial take. But that could just be my observation.
Yeah, I think that is a good observation. I'm sure it's a lot different for a public type of book where those kind of bets are a lot more common. There's not too much handle on that stuff this week. There's a big, this is not the same thing as a method of victory or exact round, but we do have a pretty large bet on the under in the Macy Chiasson versus Vieira fight at plus 250. That's moved a little bit, but that was an interesting one in a women's fight that was solid plus money. But nothing too crazy along those method of victory lines or exact round props yet.
Hey, switching gears, just appreciate you taking the time. I don't want to overkill us here.
No, you're good.
Let me know if you got to run, but I wanted to talk about two things. One of our guys, Wine Time, has checked in with us here, and he wants to know about the Los Angeles Angels market. Any handle on baseball that you have back there that you can share with us a little glimpse on what's happening in that Angels game? Angels
Let me pull up baseball. Let's see, Angels. Yeah, there's been a lot of action on the Angels today. Let's see where we had this line. Yeah, we need the Guardians pretty big. So, we opened this thing at minus 145 on the Guardians. It got as high as minus 146. We've taken multiple bets. It's currently sitting minus 133. So over the last, 8 hours or so, this has been a big mover. It looks like we got hit mostly at plus 131. We do have really fair splits on this baseball. So I know a lot of the sharp action does come in on baseball at our book. I'm not the biggest baseball guy. I'm trying to get more and more into it. But with these splits, we've done a lot of reduced juice on the on these lines. And man, it's really incentivized a lot of these customers who, are price sensitive and have a grip on what they're doing, kind of. Do use us as a an out. We did also get some sharp action on the A's at plus 163. That one hasn't moved as much, and we did get hit on the Marlins as well, pretty big at plus 152. So those are a couple of the baseball games I'm looking at and seeing a little bit of sharp action.
Oh, that's awesome. That's appreciate you sharing that insight with us here. Talk to me about this NHL. I know the market's probably just popped off, so I'm curious. Early action that you guys are seeing here between the Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers side of things. Looks like Oilers get that home ice advantage in the rematch spot. What do you guys see there, if anything, at this point?
So for the game itself, it's been very, very balanced. There's a lot of opinions on both sides. I know we're rooting for the Panthers pretty big at the book here. We do have some future liability on the Oilers. That has been a very popular future team. So yeah, we're rooting for the Panthers in that aspect, but I don't got much to give on game ones as of yet. Nothing too crazy. Pretty balanced. Let me see the ticket count. Yeah, I mean it's almost even on the ticket count. There's really nothing too crazy yet. The NBA, that game for Game 6 has been a little bit more interesting. We opened that game at 3.5. We did get some sharp action early on the Pacers. The line moved to 4, but then there's been complete resistance at 4. A lot of people betting the Knicks at 4, and a lot of people laying the 4 on the Pacers as well. It seems like 4 is. Let's see what we're doing. But yeah, there's been really, really good handle on this basketball game.
Who are you rooting for in this one? Pacers and.
I'm rooting for Game 7. I just want a Game 7. Like I said, we do. It looks like we do need the Knicks money line pretty big for this game as of now. But spread tickets are very, very balanced. Yeah, we don't have a big decision at all on the spread. But yeah, like I said, I've been keeping up with the exacta pool. So I've been doing that pretty much for the last 4 or 5 months. I'm sitting in a pretty good spot on those, but I would just like to see a Game 7. I just think that even though we do a little bit worse on the Knicks, I'd like to see them get to a Game 7 and just see what it's like in Madison Square Garden. That's what I'm rooting for.
That would be a lot of fun, and it would help us kill a little bit of time because the NHL playoffs don't start until Wednesday.
Exactly, yeah.
What are we going to do with ourselves?
And basketball's what? Basketball would be Thursday too, right? It's Wednesday and then
would start. So
NBA is Thursday.
The more we can draw these things out and give us more playoff action, the better it's going to be. I'm sure you guys feel the same down there, but
yeah,
awesome, man. Appreciate you coming in, rocking with us, and sharing some of the look behind the counter there. Tell us what's going on. Tell them about the reduced juice and where they can find you and everything else that's going on.
Yeah, so like on the NBA, we're dealing a 107 splits, so 107 on the NBA game. I don't think you're really going to find much more fair lines. We're very, very competitive in that aspect, and it's a lot of fun in the book if you're in Vegas. The atmosphere for these big games has been awesome, and yeah, I mean, feel free to come say hello. I'm excited to talk to you next week where we have a really solid UFC card that we're already riding a ton of handle on next week's card with Sean O'Malley as the main event and it being a pay-per-view again. Kind of looking forward to that one. Less this one, but the handle's starting to pick up on this one. I'll try to be optimistic. But I appreciate, like always, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I want to hit you up because I know we talked about trying to do some different things for the pay-per-view card. So we'll be in touch to go through it. But
Definitely.
Always a blessing to have you come in, my friend. Just a great ad. We love hearing it. The more you can give us, the more the merrier here. And I feel like we're putting it in use here. The last couple of weeks has been a really profitable UFC cards for me personally. So much appreciated. We'll see you very soon. Make sure you follow our guy at ababakitas24 on X. What a great wealth of information he puts out there. Takes his own time to bust it out there and share with you guys where the books are, where the liability is, where the sharp customers are. He's putting it all out there in black and white for you guys to see on a regular basis. So make sure you give our guy a follow. Hit him up when you're down there in Vegas. And on behalf of the Sports Money crew, you guys have a great night. Good luck with your bets and your action. And we'll see